Well, hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Joanne and I'm so glad that you've been able to join me tonight. So we've got a lot to talk about. I don't know that we're going to go down the path of last night, which went down the toilet very, very quickly, but we will do our best. Let's do our best to see whether we can, because I don't know about you, but I was laughing so much last night when I went to bed. I couldn't sleep because I was just so I was still laughing. So hello Rufus and hello David, hello Cal, and I saw Will there before. Pun intended. Yes. Yeah. So we're gonna see how we go down the toilet tonight. Hello, the fox. How are you? Well, some people didn't appreciate the humor because if you've been following my sub count, I lost a whole heap, so that's all right. That's fine. We cover all sorts. Anthony says, hello, Christine. Anthony says, Bruz is a real idiot for getting into a YouTube beef. Yeah, well, particularly when he's got other things like he's got poo to worry about. Yeah, keep it together. See what the pipe. So anyway, well, apparently what we've discovered that that the poo has spread. That's our discussion tonight. That's why I've called it what the Bruz has he done now. I thought it was quite funny. I didn't know how to top last night's, but I had to use the same picture. But anyway, so we might as well get started, and let's start off with our toilet talk again, toilet humor. Oh dear, here we go. Hey, I just show you the articles. So I don't write them. I just find them. I was in stitches over this article. Will says, I would figure Bruce would have a Crocodile Dundee hat or those Aussie hats. Yeah, well, could do. So we're going to start with our poo talk. So COVID sewage detection, a concern as tinderbox. New South Wales regions stay in lockdown. All right. So parts of regional New South Wales remain in areas of major concern for health authorities, meaning the entire state will remain in lockdown until midnight, September the 10th, not February the 10th. September 10th. Hope all those controversies means Bruz careers will be in deep doo-doo, says Big Dude. And Terry says, like they say, it all floats down. Deputy Premier John Barilaro said the decision was made to help protect regional communities. We are on a knife. We're on a knife edge, he said. It's a tinderbox ready to explode. I'm sorry, that phrase has got me, has cracked me up. We are on a knife edge, he said. It's a tinderbox ready to explode. New South Wales recorded 1,029 new COVID-19 cases in the 24 hours to 8 p.m. last night. While most of the cases are concentrated in Greater Sydney area, concerns over Western New South Wales growing outbreaks and additional COVID sewage detections have prompted the state government to make the decision. The virus continues to spread, particularly in the Western Local District, where there are 35 cases, including 25 in Dubbo. Exploding, burning bruises everywhere. That's right, Will. There were 6 in the state's far west, including 5 in Wilcannia. Rufus says knives, fire, Brusney. I know. When do you take knives and fire into? There were no new cases in the Hunter, New England LHD, and 2 each in Wollongong and Central Coast. The regional lockdown had been due to end this weekend. Mr. Barilaro said he apologised to regional communities that do not have cases, but I put it this way: the reason you may not have cases is because of the restrictions that are in place. I don't know, Cal. Western New South Wales remains a significant concern for the state government as case numbers continue to grow there. Across the Western New South Wales local health district, there were 35 cases. People in affected areas throughout the Western New South Wales need to be extremely vigilant and get tested at the first sign of symptoms. Premier Gladys Berejiklian said today that while many communities still didn't have a COVID-19 case, the lockdown would prevent further spread. We do appreciate there are many communities in the region that don't have any cases, that will never have any cases. But as a precaution, the health advice says we should extend the lockdown to all regional New South Wales until midnight, Friday, the 10th of September. Now we get to the poo. New South Wales Health ongoing sewage surveillance program has also detected sewage in more regional areas. Oh. We have detected fragments of the virus that causes COVID-19 at sewage treatment plants in Tamworth, Maringula, Cooma and Barrawina, a statement said. The Tamworth sewage treatment plant serves approximately 45,000 people, and the Maringula sewage treatment plant serves 15,000 people. The Barrawina sewage treatment plant serves 1,100 people. And also the snow season's been ruined as well. So essentially the moral of the story is the poo is spreading. So we haven't still got to the bottom of whether it's ACT or whether it belongs to New South Wales. But the poo is spreading. But the line of the day has to be, Bruz. I have to say, we are on a knife edge. It's a tinderbox ready to explode. I'd say the sewage workers are the real unsung heroes. Yeah, that is correct. Just think, Bruz could be sitting there going, could be thinking he could be working on his defamation case with his lawyer, but instead he's talking about poo. Health advice was to lock down about 8 weeks. I've tweeted, all right, cool. There is a Bruz tsunami. I don't know if we've got to the bottom of it yet. Oh, dear me. Oh, dear. Imagine being the minister in charge of poo. We need a minister in charge of poo. Hey, Bruz, that's you. He got the short straw. Oh, boy. So, as we found out yesterday, Bruz is in charge of freedoms. So, this was released today, new freedoms. That's freedom. So, not only is he in charge of poo, he's in charge of freedoms. So, new freedoms for vaccinated, first step on state roadmap out of COVID. People across New South Wales who have received both doses of a COVID vaccine will be allowed more freedom next month after New South Wales hit the target of 6 million jabs. We call them vaccinations here. Jabs is American. We're Australians. This is the first step in the roadmap, and further freedoms will follow for those who have had the jab when the state hits new vaccination targets of 70 and 80%. Following consultation with Dr. Kerry Chant and her team, as well as the New South Wales Chief Psychiatrist, Dr. Murray Wright, the following individual freedoms will be allowed for adults who have received both doses of COVID-19 vaccine from 12:01 Monday the 13th of September. For those who live outside the LGAs of concern, outdoor gatherings of up to 5 people, including children, all adults must be vaccinated, will be allowed in a person's LGA or within 5 kilometres. Here's a question for you. How are they going to police this? Are you going to have to carry your vaccination card around with you? For those who live in an LGA of concern, households with all adults vaccinated will be able to gather outdoors for recreation, including picnics, within the existing rules for 1 hour only, outside curfew hours and within 5 kilometres of home. This is in addition to the 1 hour allowed for exercise. So they will be allowed out for 2 hours. Wow. Premier Gladys Berejiklian thanked the millions of people across New South Wales who came forward to receive their vaccine, helping hit the 6 million doses target. We are so grateful for every person who comes forward to get vaccinated, because the more jabs we get in arms, the sooner we can lift restrictions. We appreciate the community's patience in the lead up to the 13th of September. This additional time will allow the recent surge of vaccines to take effect. Hello, Camilla. You've missed all the poo talk. We continued on from yesterday. We appreciate, as part of the roadmap, when the following targets are hit, freedoms will be as follows: 70% full vaccination, a range of family, industry, community, and economic restrictions will be lifted for those who are vaccinated. It's about public, so you won't need 2 million vaccines in the next 3 weeks. So does that mean, okay, now's a good time to read the tweet. All right, give me a minute. I'll finish this off and then we'll do it. Does that mean that the other states can get more vaccines? Um, 80% full vaccination, further easing of restrictions on industry community. The government is also investigating trials of certain industries in coming months as proof of concept measure to prepare the businesses to open up and operate in a COVID-safe way. Deputy Premier John Barilaro said this roadmap is our path to freedom and is our biggest incentive yet to get vaccinated so we can return to a level of normality. The roadmap announced today outlines a clear path forward in which a range of family, industry, community and economic restrictions will be lifted for those that are fully vaccinated when New South Wales hits 70%. Having a meal with loved ones or having a drink with friends is just around the corner, but to get there, we need to keep up momentum in the vaccination rollout. Health Minister Brad Hazzard said 2 doses of the vaccine not only helps protect people from hospitalisation and death, but also helps reduce transmission. 2 vaccine doses leads to around 90% overall reduction in transmission of the virus, Mr. Hazzard said. I don't think that's right, is it? You can still get the virus, Mr. Hazzard. You just don't end up on the ventilator, Mr. Hazzard. There are several options to receive your proof of COVID vaccination, and it tells you how to do that. So you can get it on your, I've actually downloaded it. It's in my Apple Wallet. I've got my certificate in my Apple Wallet. I also have the paper one they gave me. So here's the question. Yeah, I'm just wondering about, why are they saying that about the 90? Why are they saying hello, can you hear me? Oh, stupid computer. Oh, Okay, can you hear me? Vaccination does not reduce transmission, just the severity. Yes, I know, and that's from the Health Minister of New South Wales, though. This is my point. What's he doing? Hello, Alexis. I'm missing a whole pile of stuff, but please remember. And I mean, this is the scary thing. This is the Health Minister of New South Wales, and it's an official New South Wales thing. So I'm not very happy about that. I think that's wrong. I'm sorry, my computer. You probably heard me cursing my computer just a minute ago. All right, let me look at my Twitter, because I've just got 1,000,001 tabs open at the moment, and Twitter's not one of them. Yes, that's right. That's why they've got to have a third one. Oh no, he's just still focused on poo, Ivan. Still talking about all the poo. He said the regions are like a tinderbox ready to explode. Oh, I love puns. I believe, yes, that's with the vaccine. I believe they found the ones, well, from what I was reading, the people that were vaccinated first have lower immunity than the ones that have been vaccinated secondly. So, did I watch the, no, I didn't, Will. I know, that I have some time on my hands, but yeah, I'm just, oh. All right, so here's another one I've just been given. This is Sky News. I'm just having a look at this, and I just don't know what the government's on. I don't know what the New South Wales government is on, with all due respect. Queensland Premier just signed off. Yes, the other thing is that the Fed. Shush. The federal government has decided to put the national quarantine facility that they're building in Perth on contaminated land. So Barely Jiglian, Gladys, rolled by New South Wales crisis cabinet over hairdresser proposal. This is what I'm saying. I don't know what they're on. New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian was rolled by her crisis cabinet over plans to allow residents to receive haircuts from vaccinated hairdressers, according to Sky News political editor Andrew Clennell. The New South Wales government announced an easing of restrictions after the state hit 6 million jabs earlier this week, with residents in LGAs outside the areas concerned allowed gatherings up to 5 people, with people in hotspots given it an extra hour of recreation. The proposal to open up some non-COVID affected areas of the state, as I reported yesterday, was on the table, as was Gladys Berejiklian's vaccinated hairdresser proposal, but was quickly taken off. She must want a haircut. Why else? Why else is she thinking about hairdressers? The rest of us have to worry about, I understand the Premier was rolled by her crisis cabinet, led by Treasurer Dominic Perrott. How do you say it? Perrott? With ministers saying picking hairdressers was picking favourites, and how you could get a haircut in New South Wales but not a breast screen or elective surgery. Supporting her haircut plan was John Barilaro. Of course he would. Victor De Manello and Sarah Mitchell. Opening up certain country areas was opposed by Deputy Premier John Barilaro. He did not want to take the risk, and other ministers followed, given he was the Nationals leader. Interesting. He was okay to open up hairdressers, but not okay to open up the regional areas. What on earth is... Wouldn't you think think you would be more inclined to open up the areas that don't have the vaccine to get the regional areas running again, operational, rather than the city. Seriously, I don't know what is wrong with it. I don't know what is wrong with this government. Yes, I have seen it. I need to probably get that footage and do that. We're talking about that. Yes, that's right. And you can't even get your computer fixed. You can't get anything. You can't get anything done, but she wants to open up hairdressers. Obviously, she needs a hairdresser. But he's supposed to be the national leader and put in the country people first. And yet he's happier to have hairdressers open. Hey, but he's got the new street. Maybe, well, he's got the new street being built to his palatial residence. So, you know, I guess he doesn't need to worry about that. And he's got a new school being built so his daughter can attend. So, you know, what else do you want? Anyway, I just saw this earlier, and I was laughing. This has got nothing to do with poo. This is Media Bites by the ABC, and it's really quite interesting. I'm going to play it, and I did laugh. I don't know, Cal. So let's watch this. So this is Media Bites, and it talks about cave fight, and it talks about what the Prime Minister said about living in caves. Let's have a watch of this.
Hi, I'm Janine Perrin. Welcome to Media Bites. And Barley Charlie Watts, the legendary Stones drummer, or as 7 News honoured with, Rolling Stoned. What are they smoking over there? But now, what does this movie remind you of?
My family always survived by living by my dad's one rule: never leave the cave.
Sounds like life in Australia circa 2021, or at least that's what the PM reckons.
We can't stay in the cave, and we can get out of it safely. That's what the plan does.
So he quoted a movie? His inspiration's from a movie? This is where the Prime Minister gets his good ideas from, movies? Watch.
PM reckons.
We can't stay in the cave, and we can get out of it safely. That's what the plan does.
It's inspiring stuff, and we know it will work because it's been road tested in Hollywood.
It's like that movie in The Croods. People wanted to stay in the cave. Some wanted to stay in the cave, and that young girl, she wanted to go out and live again and deal with the challenges of living in a different world.
And that different world is amazing.
You really need to see this.
Australia's COVID exit has never looked brighter. Just don't analyse it too much.
So, I mean, I don't listen to a lot of the Prime Minister says, but I'm glad someone picked up the Disney analogy.
Doesn't the cave collapse in the end, leaving the dad stranded and separating the family in horrific circumstances?
Well, there's that. And WA's top caveman wasn't happy about the PM sledge.
We are not living in caves. We are living a normal life.
You reckon? McGowan then struck back, calling the squabble over the national plan nothing but a Seinfeld debate, leaving the West Australian with only one option: a front page featuring Dan, Scott, Gladys and Mark in the shit show about nothing. Nice one. And while we're talking COVID coverage, spare a thought for the busy graphics team at the project.
But Iceland and Israel stand apart because they're also two of the most vaccinated places on Earth.
What do you notice? What's wrong with this picture? Oh, really? I'll have to have a look. What do you know? What's wrong with that picture? Anybody know? No, I haven't. Did anyone pick up what's wrong with Iceland? Iceland isn't there. Yeah. Iceland does not belong there. Which
and Israel stand apart because they're also two of the most vaccinated places on Earth.
Impressive map, but sacre bleu, Iceland has invaded France. Not once, but twice. Don't worry, we're sure nobody noticed.
I watched that and feel really hopeful.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Good. But now it's time for
Fruit salad TV, 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 fruit salad TV.
Stop! This week, the Wiggles' new YouTube show was making TV news of its own.
The Wiggles have added 4 new members in a move to promote more diversity and gender equality.
How very exciting. So what's the problem?
There are also 3 new characters, including non-binary unicorn Shirley Shawn.
Oh no, diverse characters in a kids' TV show. Cue predictable outrage from Senator Clickbait himself, Matt Canavan.
This wokeness, it introduces the division where there is no division.
And
Bruce Marathon all poo. We'll have to find that. I'll find that tweet.
telling the Australian, you go woke, you go broke. Hardly original, but given the Wiggles are worth millions, most unlikely. But it was catchy enough for the usual chorus to sing the same dire tune.
The group that gave us Wake Up Jeff, they've decided to woke up.
I just think it's all slightly woke madness.
But have no fear, the Today Show has a brilliant solution for Canavan's concerns.
I can reveal the 9th member of the Wiggles. Voila, there he is on the left there. None other than coal mining Wiggle.
I'd love to be the coal Wiggle.
So there you go, woke no more. Now to 10's Daniel Doody with the weather.
There's a high
All right, watch this. This is hilarious too. Shows you how bad our meter is, really.
pressure system moving slowly east over the Tasman Sea. Humidity's rising.
Yes,
Not this
but Daniel,
guy.
it's all clear skies and pirouettes.
And Sydney's also sunny. And Canberra, morning frost.
Sing it, Doody.
It's Judy at 10. Hallelujah, it's Judy at 10. Yeah, yeah. That's you guys in Judy at 10.
But over on 9, the forecast wasn't so harmonious.
A shower or two and 16 on Wednesday, that's the first day of spring.
August 25th, first day of spring.
Then Tuesday, that's the last day of winter. We'll feel really, really wintry, Georgie. Last hurrah.
That's a
Hang on, I didn't think spring happened till September.
problem with living in a cave. All the seasons just pass us by. You can catch Media Watch, though, on Monday, 9:15, and on your social media.
Anyway. So anyway, that's that. So let's have a look at Michael West's Twitter. Wowzers! Oh, wow. Yes. So this is oh great. This was my plan for tonight. It's gone, baby. It's gone. Bruz has, here it is. Michael West Media says, so John Barilaro did dob friendly Geordies into police for being mean. Public health crisis, and New South Wales Deputy Premier is wasting public resources prosecuting a comedian. #baby. Legal estab needs to have a good look at itself for this lawyer's picnic. Now, it's the Sydney Morning Herald. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to view it. But it says, John Barilaro reported friendly Geordies to police 6 months before producer's arrest. This is disgusting. Bruz, you should be ashamed of yourself. So Deppy, yeah, it's not gonna. Hang on. It's not going to let me read it. You got to pay for it. Really? Go jump. All right, let me see. John Barilaro, what's his email address? This is just disgusting, in my opinion. All right, here we go. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, really? Oh. Yes, that's my business email address. That's all right. I haven't doxed myself. Don't worry. It's only, yeah, it's my business email. So that's okay. I'm not worried. Alrighty, I just confirmed my email. Alrighty, account verified. I'm not going to subscribe. I'm not paying for it. I'm not paying for it. Nick off. Oh, that's okay. I just want to be able to view it. That should do. No, I haven't. Okay, here we go. Here it is. I got it. New South Wales Deputy Premier John Barilaro made a report to police last year that he was being harassed by content creator Jordan Shanks after a series of videos were published on YouTube, including 2 at the centre of a defamation case. In a statement made to the Fixated Persons Investigation Unit in April this year, seen by the Herald, Mr. Barilaro detailed meeting with 2 detectives in his office on December 2, 2020, the day after Mr. Shanks posted a video on his Friendly Jordies channel titled, "I called John Barilaro and he answered." The politician said his chief of staff organised for 4 Friendly Jordies videos to be placed on a USB for police. Mr. Barilaro said he first became aware of the Friendly Jordies channel in July 2020 and asked his staff to block Mr. Shanks. However, he is continuously bombarded on social media by hashtags mentioned in the videos, including Bruz and Port Barilaro. But he called himself Port Barilaro. He said Mr. Shanks took a picture of him at a Freedom Furniture store in Sydney in September 2020 and posted it online. The same month, Mr. Shanks posted a video of Bruz, which was filmed at Mr. Barilaro's guest house after it was rented through Airbnb. Surely he can't. It's interesting. Here's the thing. It's only the videos he's complained about. But renting Bruz's property through Airbnb, is that considered harassment? He paid for it. Mr. Barilaro said in a statement that he fears for his safety, has experienced harassment and is constantly alert and anxious that Mr. Shanks may approach him every time he goes somewhere. Mr. Shanks has maintained his focus that on Mr. Barilaro is legitimate and in the public interest. The December meeting with police came 6 months before Mr. Shanks' producer, Chrisley Confessions, was arrested by the Fixated Persons Investigation Unit and charged with stalking Mr. Barilaro, an allegation Mr. Lanka has indicated will defend strenuously. Mr. Barilaro's statement given in April and June are listed as part of the potential case against Mr. Shanks, who has not been charged. They've not done anything to Shanks. What are they talking about? In the June statement, Mr. Barilaro says his chief of staff was previously in contact with the Fixated Persons Unit to report incidences of harassment by Jordan Shanks and his followers. And the staff member contacted them again after Mr. Lanka spoke to Mr. Barilaro on Sydney Street. Last month, during an interview on Sky News, Mr. Barilaro was asked if he had requested the Fixated Persons Unit to be involved in the arrest of Mr. Lanka. He responded, "Absolutely not, and rubbish. Barlow sits on the electric wire, jumping up and down with his pants on fire. Laugh, Barlow, laugh, Barlow. You have been found lying. In a heated exchange, Mr. Barlow responded, "I've actually made it clear, Tom. I said absolutely not. For you to be asking that question is an indictment on your level of journalism." And then here's the clip for you. John Barlow files up. So he lied. Mr. Barlow continued that it was unfair for him to be repeatedly asked questions about a matter that was now with the police. "I think I've answered more than I should have. I've been very forthcoming to you," he said. Earlier this year, Mr. Barlow sued Mr. Shanks and Google, which owns YouTube, in federal court. In a statement of claim, Mr. Barlow argues he was defamed by the videos Bruz and Secret Dictatorship, which he alleges he published, which was published as part of a smear campaign. In a fresh defence document filed this week, Mr. Shanks conceded one of the videos contained defamatory imputations that Mr. Barlow is a corrupt conman, committed perjury 9 times, and so conducted himself by committing perjury that he should be jailed. Mr. Shanks has argued the defences of truth, contextual truth, and honest opinion. Oh, well, we're finding out what was filed. In its defence, also filed this week, Google denied Mr. Barlow was defamed in the way he claims. Lawyers for the internet giant will argue the defences of qualified privilege, honest opinion, and public interest. The matters complained of constitute and refer to information, opinions, and arguments concerning government and political matters affecting the people of Australia, and in particular the people of New South Wales, in which all members of the Australian community have an interest, Google argues in court documents. The second respondent, Google, had a duty of interest, legal, social, to publish the information. Hello, Poppy. In matters complained of, and the recipients had a reciprocal duty or interest to receive such information. The defamation case will return to court next week. Mr. Barlow has been contacted for comment. So, what did we find out? We found out that Google is using the defences of public opinion, argue qualified privilege on the honest opinion and public interest. Shanks is using defences of truth, contextual truth, and honest opinion. And we have discovered that Bruz lied on national TV when he said that he did not get the fixated people, he didn't get the police involved because he met with police officers in December. No, hey, we found where the fire reference came from before with the tinderbox. When Bruz was talking about the regional areas being a tinderbox and ready to get on fire and explode, here's where the fire has come from. Thank you. And everyone's calling him Bruz. And Port Barlow. He needs to remember that he referred to himself as Port Barlow. You can't complain about the nickname you gave yourself. Oh, gee whiz. Somebody actually has questioned. Someone's actually put a question here. Is it actually legal to download a YouTube video to a drive? Shakes may actually could do him for copyright. Well, Google should do him for copyright. Someone says, Bruz is certainly calling in a few favours within this department in order to get people to lie about having FJs investigated 6 months prior to Christo getting arrested. It must be awesome to have bootlickers on call to help wipe John's dirty butt. So So let me explain this. Jordan and Christo have been stalking, harassing and intimidating Barilaro for at least 12 months, beginning with the photos in the shopping centre, the Matthew debacle, harassing his lawyer's receptionist, and the funeral incident. They have formed. The shopping centre was a coincidence. They walked in first. Matthew was a public event. The lawyer was contacted because Jordan was not served a legal document. The funeral incident was also a coincidence. Christo was attempting to fix a clerical error on the document. So, anyway, interesting. So there's a bit of an argument in there about, anyway. So we have finally found out that Barilaro did dob. So there is still a warrant out for Shanks's arrest. That has also been confirmed. They've just not done anything about it. I whipped up my piece of paper. I don't know what I was supposed to talk about next. Oh dear me. Oh, I know what I was trying to. Well, I was staying on the COVID matter. Well, the thing is, he did give himself the nickname. Nothing like facts getting away. Sorry, yes, I know. Here's the issue, or I think this is really very concerning. COVID-19 was never supposed to get into Indigenous communities. Now it's at the doorstep. Hello, Kiki. So, in the successful story of the pandemic, no First Nations lives lost, and until recently, COVID-19 had not made its way into any of the remote communities. He is a dibber-dobber, isn't he? So now with critically low vaccination rates, and don't forget that they took vaccinations from the country to give to the city. Aboriginal communities fear the worst as a rapidly evolving outbreak hits communities already battling chronic illnesses and overcrowding. First Nations communities in Western and Far Western Sydney, New South Wales are laying the blame on negligent and incompetent lack of planning from both state and federal governments. In Wilcannia, where 44 people have tested positive, there has been a shortage of food and supplies as families in overcrowded housing isolate together. No, Christo, I think, is in court on the 8th of September again. So, one Indigenous health expert says Aboriginal doctors and nurses should be leading the COVID-19 response for their communities. Their medical services are running short of vaccine, and it's really urgent. So it says 7:30 can reveal more than 400 Indigenous people have contracted COVID-19 in New South Wales since June. This is what we didn't want because they are such a high risk. Just 6.3% of the Aboriginal population in Western New South Wales is fully vaccinated, compared to 26% of the non-Indigenous population. So children and elders are infected, and the Aboriginal medical services are scrambling to get out to test and vaccinate as many families as possible. At the Orange Aboriginal Medical Service, Chief Executive Jamie Newman was pleading for more supplies of vaccines for weeks before cases were confirmed in the regional city. We had overwhelming support for vaccinations, but when we're having 100 to 200 doses of vaccine delivered a fortnight, you can't maintain connection with communities by offering something that's not there. In Orange, Indigenous children have tested positive for COVID-19, and an elder was hospitalised. A spokesman for Health Minister Greg Hunt said the Aboriginal community-controlled health services, including in Orange, were among the first primary care sites to receive vaccinations in March. He said there were 118 Commonwealth primary care sites delivering vaccines across Western New South Wales, in addition to 5 military teams and the Royal Flying Doctor Services. Federal Labor says the situation is a nightmare in Western New South Wales. Australia Indigenous Affairs Minister Linda Burney said she was worried about the low vaccination rates in other Aboriginal communities across the country. What's happening in Western New South Wales could happen anywhere, and there's a real need for a national plan. Unless we have vaccines made available to our communities in the remote and very remote communities, we're going to have problems, Mr. Newman said. And we're going to have more people in hospital, the more people becoming positive, and unfortunately people dying. That to me should not even be considered. The tiny community of Goodoogga, 20 kilometres south of the Queensland border, is also in lockdown after a family there contracted COVID-19. He said his mob felt forgotten by the state and federal governments. It's absolutely clear that we Aboriginal people are a priority group in political rhetoric only. Last week, Prime Minister Scott Morrison said being difficult to reach remote communities. Some communities are more challenging, their remoteness and many other issues play into that. And of course, we want those vaccination rates to be as high as they possibly can. And Mr. Williamson is fed up hearing about that remoteness and vulnerabilities have led to a gulf in numbers of First Nation people being fully vaccinated compared with the general population. That really hides the fact that our people have been put at an additional risk by negligent state government and just an astonishing, incompetent federal response, he said. So anyway, they're very concerned that, very, very concerned. They've been pleading for vaccines for the I heard that hospitals have been turning people away. That's horrifying, isn't it? But they've got a plan to open up those poppy seeds. This is what I don't understand. We looked at the plan tonight. How can there even be any consideration? In fact, a lot of people, there's been lots of discussions going on today online with people that I know. We're going, we are expecting our lockdown's going to be extended because we know where we need to be and we're not going to be there. And it's obvious Gladys just wants to keep breaking records, the wrong records. If Gladys wants to open up, they can open up, but don't come in near anyone else. And then Qantas was talking about international flights. Well, and also we were just reading how she wanted to open up hairdressers. She obviously needs a haircut. So we've done that one. So's Tom, so's Dan, Dictator Dan. You can't have Bruz as Mussolini, but you can have, Dan as a dictator, All right. Would you like to hear some good news out of Afghanistan? Would you like to hear something positive that's come out of Afghanistan? Because if there was a story that was heartwarming, it's this one. Baby girl born on an Afghanistan evacuation flight, named Reach after the aircraft's call sign. Hello, Jenna Sweet Tea. So she was born on the flight. The Afghan baby girl born on a C-17 military aircraft during her evacuation flight from Afghanistan will forever carry that experience with her. That's because her parents have named her after the plane's call sign, Reach. The head of the US Europe Command on Wednesday said that officials had spoken to the mother and the father of the child, who is the only one actually born on the evacuation flight. General Todd Walters said the parents had decided to name her Reach because the transport aircraft's call sign was Reach 828. She was born on Saturday, and members of the 86th Medical Group helped in her birth as the plane flew from Kabul to Ramstein Air Base in Germany. Europe Command said the mother went into labour during the flight and began experiencing complications due to low blood pressure. The pilot descended in altitude to increase air pressure in the aircraft, which helped stabilise her. Military medical personnel delivered the baby in the plane's cargo bay. General Walters said the baby and the family were in good condition, and there's been 2 other babies whose parents were evacuated from Afghanistan have been born in the past weeks at the Landstuhl Regional Medical Center, the US Medical Hospital in Germany. General Walters said 55 evacuation flights from Afghanistan had flown into the Ramstein Air Base in Germany and 3 into the US Naval Air Station Sigonella in Italy. Isn't it? It is an awesome story. I mean, with all the bad stuff that's happening in Afghanistan, what an amazing story. Look at this little cutie. Look at this. Isn't she beautiful? He said the flight had so far brought nearly 5,800 evacuees from Kabul to Ramstein and 662 to Sigonella. Smaller numbers of flights and people had gone to 6 other European locations, largely bases in Germany. Flights will soon be going into the base at Rota, Spain. In total, the White House said 82,300 people had been evacuated on coalition flights since the Taliban entered Kabul. More than 2,500 people have been flown out by Australian and New Zealand forces since the evacuation mission began. President Joe Biden said he would stick to his August 31 deadline for completing the US pullout of the country. Yeah. So, yes. So on the flight, on the evacuation flight, the US Air Force became doctors and delivered a baby. So that is just lovely. That's the only good, that's a good news story. So there's been 2 other babies born as well. So, you know, we know for at least 3 little babies that they're going to have a great new, you know, a new life, hopefully. So, yeah. All right. Okay, and then this one's just pulled up. This is one that the ABC's just reporting. Now, this is a bad news story. Desperate and soul-crushing 1-year-old Australian boy among those. See, this is where I get. This is where my heart breaks. So your heart's just been really warmed. Now your heart's going to be broken. Desperate and soul-crushing 1-year-old Australian boy among those trying to flee Kabul. My heart's breaking at the moment. Time is running out for Australian citizens, residents and temporary protection visa holders to escape the Taliban's clutches. US President Joe Biden has declared the last US flight will leave Kabul next Tuesday, taking any remaining US soldiers with it and dashing the hopes of those left behind. France has announced all of its flights will stop on Friday night. Australia is yet to say when its evacuation operation will cease, but it will wrap up before the Americans. The entire foreign operation, from the coordination at the gates through to the management of the airport itself, is, utterly chaotic. Australian photojournalist Andrew Quilty told 7:30. Courtie's been in Afghanistan since 2013 and knows the capital well. You now have a situation where there are about 4 main gates where people are trying to access the airport. At each of those, you have thousands of people trying to gain entry. I mean, you've got families with young children, toddlers who can't walk on their own, being thrust into these, seething crowds of similarly disparate people who will literally do just about anything to escape. In an unverified video posted on Twitter by a French freelance journalist in Kabul, a man with blood running down his face declares, "I am an Australian citizen," before telling the camera he's been bashed by nearby Taliban soldiers. It is a worrying sign for those back in Australia waiting for news of loved ones. Ahmed, whose name we have changed to protect his identity, is a former interpreter for the Australian Defence Force who was resettled in Australia in 2017 with his family. His wife and 4 children went back to visit relatives and are now trapped. My wife, she already had anxiety when she was there, and now it must increase as I'm talking to her, trying to tell her to calm down and everything will be all right, Ahmed told 730. I've got a daughter, she's 14. I've got 3 boys, 12, 8, and 1.5-year-old. My youngest child, he was born here. He's an Australian citizen, and the rest of them have permanent visas with them. Each day this week, Ahmed's family has attempted to reach the safety of the tarmac at Kabul airport. Each day they're being refused entry. It's not clear why. It's a very distressful and hard time for them, especially for my young children. They hear this gunfire every day in the airport area, and especially when they go to the airport to get into the airport. So because of the crowds, the Taliban or the other people are trying to control them. There's lots of gunfire. It's a completely distressing situation. For a man who has served beside Australian soldiers and knows the nature of the Taliban, he remains optimistic. Hopefully, yeah, we will get here and they'll be all right. Andrew Coulty has decided to stay in Afghanistan for the moment because of his strong network of friends and local contacts. We've really relied on each other heavily the last week. I don't think any of us would have wanted to have been here on our own. For Australian citizens, residents and visa holders, he said the clock is definitely ticking. The deadline of the 31st of August is the American deadline. I would imagine that the Australians and all other countries who are managing these evacuations will not be there at the 11th hour on the 31st of August. For every person that is able to get through to the airport and get on a flight, there's 10 more who are asking for help. So, yeah. Now, one thing that I did wonder about, he said that his wife and his children went over there for a holiday. I don't know how long they've been there for, but yeah, I mean, I could state that. But see, that's them loading on evacuees. I've got no desire to go anywhere at the moment. Even if the borders were open, I don't want to go anywhere. Oh, and then there's this one. There's this study. There's this one which will just make everybody in New South Wales really angry. A study finds COVID peak still 6 weeks away, and New South Wales could reach 6,000 cases a day. This is new research shows that under current settings, daily COVID-19 case numbers will continue to climb and could peak between 1,500 and 6,000 a day by early October. The University of Sydney has used complex modelling. So modelling shows the outbreak will not peak for another 6 weeks. Cases could surge to 40,000 a day if lockdown is ended abruptly. Using data available up until August 25, it found that if restrictions were fully lifted, when 80% of adults were vaccinated, infections could surge to 40,000 cases a day. The modelling showed that in the following month, 500,000 people could become infected with the virus. This is the thing. I mean, is the Doherty Institute, is that impartial, or is that employed by the government to tell them what they want to hear? So the start figure supports New South Wales Premier and Chief Officer's decision to keep some restrictions in place even after the 80% vaccination threshold is reached. She hasn't outlined which restrictions will stay. Dr. Chant earlier this week flagged that mask wearing might remain for years. Study lead Mikhail said the data was a cautionary tale. Although it is encouraging that more people are being vaccinated, we can expect to see a rapid increase in cases when we exit lockdown. He said it's expected that the lockdown will be lifted in New South Wales in November, once 80% of the eligible population received jabs. He wants to see social distancing remain in place to prevent a sharp peak in cases. So they're saying that if you come out too quickly, it's going to get worse. So the modelling was created by the Centre for Complex Systems at Sydney University. It has been published online, but has not gone through the peer review process yet. So we'll see what happens. Well, I mean, the thing is, once everybody starts opening up again, they probably will get some cases. But anyway, but 6,000 cases for, scary. Is the virus shedding and contagious? I think it is. I think the virus shedding is causing some problems. Short article, but I don't know because I got no idea. So, all right. Next, we haven't even got to Kate. We haven't even got to Todd Chrisley yet, or Katie Joy. Hey, we have scumbags that don't follow the rules. One shopping centre has been deep cleaned 3 times in the last 3 weeks because people keep going there with the virus. DPP tells Brittany Higgins not to participate in inquiry by head of Prime Minister's Department. Former Liberal staffer advised that taking part in the filgation review of who knew about her R allegation could be prejudicial. Hey, you haven't derailed my stream. So the director of the DPP in the ACT has advised the former Liberal Party staff member, Brittany Higgins, not to participate in the review because it could be prejudicial to her legal action. In advice seen by The Guardian, the ACT Director of Public Prosecutions has suggested the long-running inquiry by Scott Morrison's departmental head into who knew what when should not progress. After Higgins alleged she was R in March 2009 by a more senior colleague in Parliament House, while working for the then Defence Minister Linda Reynolds, Morrison asked the Secretary of the Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet, Phil Gatrins, to check whether staff in his office had any knowledge of the allegation well before it became public knowledge. Morrison requested that I can't pronounce his name, I'm sorry, check communications between his parliamentary staff and Higgins on the 17th of February because there were conflicting accounts about whether senior players in the Prime Minister's office were aware of key details of the alleged assault before the former Liberal staffer went public with her story on the 15th of February. Higgins has not yet been formally interviewed by Gations. Guardian Australia understands the former Liberal staffer was advised to wait until the Australian Federal Police made a final determination about whether to charge the alleged perpetrator. In the first week of August, a 26-year-old man was summoned to appear before the ACT's Magistrate Court in September over the alleged essay of the former Morrison government staffer at Parliament House. He will face one charge of sexual intercourse without consent in relation to the alleged assault in Parliament House in March 2019. His lawyer says his client absolutely and unequivocally denies any form of essay took place or anything at all. The Gations inquiry has already been paused once because of concerns expressed by police that the probe could disrupt their criminal investigations into the R allegation. There were initially conflicting accounts between Gations and the AFP Commissioner Reece Kershaw about what advice had been given about the inquiry. But in the end, Kershaw said, I informed Mr. Gations on March 9, it was strongly advised to hold off finalising the records of interviews with staff until the AFP could clarify whether the criminal investigation into Ms. Higgins' essay allegations may traverse any issues covered by the administrative process he was undertaking. The ACT's Director of Public Prosecutions has now advised Higgins to consider carefully not participating in any interview because it could ultimately result in publicity that is prejudicial to the legal proceedings while the matter is sub curia. So the question is, why do they need to do the investigation now if it's already before, like the guy's going to court? Did you know that WA is actually processing a lot of New South Wales results at the moment too? Okay, we're just about to head to the Chrisley case. We're going to listen to his podcast in a minute. I haven't heard it all, but this is an interesting one. This came up today. And as we've got poppy seeds in the house, we can get some opinion, some legal opinion. Spencer Alden, the baby from Nirvana's Nevermind album cover, sues alleging child exploitation. So Spencer Alden, who is the baby, who as a baby appeared on the cover of Nirvana's 1991 album, Nevermind, is suing the band for alleging he was sexually exploited by the nude picture, which has become one of the most enduring images of alternative music. The image shows Mr. Alden as a baby swimming towards a US dollar bill on a fishhook. More than 30 million copies of Nevermind were sold, making it one of the best-selling albums of all time. When interpreted by most as a non-sexual image of a child, a filing on behalf of Mr. Alden in the California Central District Court alleges it amounted to commercial child sexual exploitation. The lawsuit names the band's surviving members, Dave Grohl and Chris Novoselic, along with the estate of dead frontman Kurt Cobain, production companies and photographer Kurt Whittle. This is the picture in question. Does everyone remind that? The lawsuit seeks damages from each of the defendants named in the suit. Spencer's true identity and legal name are forever tied to the commercial sexual exploitation he experienced as a minor, which has been distributed and sold worldwide from the time he was a baby to the present day, it says. Neither Spencer nor his legal guardians ever signed a release authorizing the use of any images of Spencer or his likeness. And certainly not of commercial child pornography depicting of him. Sorry, I just said CP. Sorry. Mr. Alden wound up on the cover as his father was a friend of Weddle who invited him to participate in the photo shoot. He has previously participated in publicity shots recreating the album cover as an adult. There he is as an adult. But in interviews, he expressed ambivalence about the cover. In 2016 interview with GQ Australia on the 25th anniversary of the album's release, he said his views had changed over time. I've recently been thinking, what if it wasn't okay with my freaking penis being on show to everybody? I didn't really have a choice, he said. Nevermind established Nirvana as one of the best known bands of the 90s with hits like Smells Like Teen Spirit and Come As You Are. The band enjoyed worldwide success, which was cut short by Cobain's death in '94. The album will be 34. Now, there's another article here, which is it's from Pitchfork. So this one is saying CP here. Now it's talking about so it says TMZ reports and documents viewed by Pitchfork confirm they've reached out to Nirvana. So here it says in the lawsuit that has also named photographer Kurt Weddle and the labels behind the album's release. He claims he has suffered lifelong damages and says his legal guardians never signed a release authorizing images. He's also suing for distribution of private sexually explicit materials, negligence, and what's described as sex trafficking venture, where Alden was forced to engage in commercial sexual acts while under the age of 18. Alden is seeking damages, attorney's fees, and injunction to prohibit all parties from continuing to engage in the unlawful acts and practices described hearing. The permanent harm he has proximately suffered includes, but not limited to, extreme and permanent emotional distress with physical manifestations, interference with his normal development and educational process, lifelong loss of income earning potential, loss of past and future wages, past and future expenses for medical and psychological treatment, loss of enjoyment of life, and other losses to be described and proven at trial. Weddell was a friend of Alden's father, Rick, which is how young Spencer ended up on the cover. Weddell calls up and says, "Hey, Rick, want to make $200 and throw your kid in the drink?" Rick told NPR in 2008. I was like, "What's up?" He says, "Well, I'm shooting kids all this week. Why don't we meet up at the Rose Bowl, throw your kid in the drink?" We just had a big party at the pool. No one had any idea what was going on. Spencer was reportedly sent a platinum copy of Nevermind and a teddy bear by Geffen Records in 91. The father got $200. Alden recreated the image multiple times over the years and had the word "Nevermind" tattooed on his chest. But in a 2016 interview with GQ Australia, Alden revealed that he'd recently become unhappy about the Nevermind artwork. It's effed up, he said. "I'm really peed off about it, to be honest." So there you go. I was going to say that would be a very, I mean, I know it's not Australia, but that is a very Australian thing to do. In fact, if it was $200 and a keg of beer, it would be done deal. But it says, "Hey, do you want to make $200? So there's obviously a transaction go on there. Now I pulled up the I've got here the SA statutes of limitations on civil actions, because I wondered what if there was a statute of limitation. So it says, so this is the California legislative, and I may be interpreting that wrong because I've got no, I was actually looking, I've been trying to work out which law, which of the civil things it would fit under, because he's saying SA. So this was the closest one. Any civil action for recovering suffered as a result. But see, it wasn't SA'd, where the assault occurred on or it's just really hard to find a specific policy. So here is all the crime definitions. And the only one that I could come up with is arranging a meeting with a minor for the purpose of exposing his or her genitals, or having the child expose his or her genitals. And this says, what is the statute of limitations? This crime is punishable by imprisonment not to exceed 1 year unless the perpetrator goes into the meeting place. But yeah, I can't. I don't even know how you would work it out. I think there'd have to be a statute of limitations issue, and he's obviously used the fame of being on the cover. Well, the father admitted that he was paid $200. I mean, is that a proper formal transaction or not? And is that a contract? Yeah, that's right. Well, that's what I was trying to work out, but I couldn't even work out how it would fit, because filming a child naked in a swimming pool for a commercial purpose, I don't know, but they've called it child exploitation. But I'd have to wonder if there's a statute of limitations for that. A lot of child-related crimes aren't. Baby bath photos wasn't uncommon. Well, and that's true. Having photos of children naked was actually quite common. How many times have you seen those newborn baby shots where they're, 1991, Cal. It was 91, I think. But he's got the tattoo. He's got a tattoo of the album on his chest. So he's obviously, from what I can see, he's used it to do some type of fame, and he's recreated it. And why is he complaining about it now? I guess is my. Hello, Osbel. Hey, we found proof that your local member made a complaint about friendlyjordies in December to the Fixated Persons Unit. So he's a naughty boy. So anyway, the album's 30 next year. But see, for me, you would have to question and say, if you had issues, why would you take a photo like this? He's recreated the photo. Why would he and in 2016 he changed his mind. Right up until that point, see, he's previously participated in publicity shoots recreating the album cover as an adult. Yes, Rory, there is. Let me just show you again. Michael West. So Barilaro did dob friendlyjordies into police for being mean. Public health crisis, and Sydney Morning Herald has broken the story. He met with 2 detectives in his office in December 2020. I think he's still being called Bruz. Well, yeah, see, and that's my thing. What's he been doing in the? Yeah, I don't know. Somebody else. I was speaking to another lawyer about it today. Another Australian lawyer who does intellectual property, and said that there's been a few. He's tried a couple of times, but I don't know. Well, no one would know who that. Yeah, that's right. He was the one that made it known. But anyway, I think Emily D. Baker's going to cover it at some point in time. So, oh yeah, that's right. Will Osbel, Bruce needs the Mario hat. Right. So, I hoped you all liked the title of today, because I thought that was a pretty cool title. It came to me. And oh, by the way, Osbel, the poo is spreading too, believe it or not. But yeah. Okay, Chrisley Confessions released another one today. He has stated that he knows of another 2 people. He states that he knows of another 2 people that are suing Katie Joy. So let me get this. I'm hoping it's in the right spot. No, it's not. It's 7 minutes in, I think.
When you're trying to force that case. One. When you're trying to. One. Uncomfortable with this right now. But I do feel like that they have that they should also have to be. Let's move on past COVID. Lots of rumble and chatter on social media, in the last, week or so about all this stuff with this Katie and the things that she.
All right, so now we're up to, you've been around. Poo is spreading, so are the puns, yes. So here we go. He's going to talk about Katie Joy again. Okay, you ready? I actually haven't listened to it all, so you'll be getting my first reactions.
Post and the lies that she tells. And so I received
And this you're talking about Katie Joy.
Yes. I received notice yesterday from someone where she had posted that she had assembled the dream team, her legal defense team.
The dream team.
Normally, it's more. The definition of a team is more than one.
Mm-hmm.
We have a team, but I'm hopeful that actually what she's posted is true, because then that means if she's got a dream team and I have a dream team, then those two teams can dream together and figure.
Those two teams can dream together. I didn't realize that it says it in the God is in control, dream team attorneys and miracle babies. What did Osbel say? Oh, I missed that. So the two dream team lawyers can all sit down and dream together. You don't want to hear about it.
Out exactly what, who's liable here. I want to make sure that everyone is aware. I'm just not engaging with this, this ass clownery that goes on social media. I'm not going to respond to it, because at the end of the day, I'm going to let our stuff play out in this lawsuit that we're prepping right now to be filed. So do not think that, because so many people are messaging me and whatever and asking me, are you going to sue her? Are you going to sue her? I've already stated, yes, I am suing her. That is happening. So at the end of the day, we're going to let the system work the way that it's supposed to work, hopefully. And this will go in front of a jury, and we will point out to a jury exactly what this woman has done to us, All
right. Good night, Cal. Thank you very much. Thank you, Cal. I appreciate it. But can't stand the KJ stuff. Thank you. Yeah. But yeah, thank you, Cal. Really appreciate it.
Us being our family and the lies that she has reported on and the things that she has told. And not just us, folks. I mean, I found out yesterday as well that there's 2 more lawsuits coming, that there's someone that she's gone after for a TRO or whatever it's called, or HRO or whatever, that they have now lawyered up and are going to be making that they're going to file countersuits against her for this and the abusive way that she's used the system. Based off of what they have, what they're stating. They're basically stating that she's an abusive litigator, that she uses the system to try to shut people down, and she does all of this because she wants to control the narrative of what's being told about her. But at the end of the day, we don't have to look for defamation anymore. We have it. We've got it 100%. It's locked down. That's coming from attorneys in her home state, as well as attorneys from Georgia that have reviewed everything. We have what we need to prove slander and defamation of character. So we're going to let that go in front of a jury, and then we're going to parade in, literally, folks, probably 100 people that this woman has defamed, harassed, and just placed a false narrative out there so that she can get a click on her YouTube channel so that she gets to make money. We're also, we have an investigator that is investigating everything about this woman. I mean, everything from any GoFundMe's to, money's being paid to PayPal on her behalf and that she supposedly donated to people. We're going to find all that stuff out, and all that stuff comes out in depositions. I guess her attorney has now stated that she is going to fight being deposed. That's okay. We don't care. She wouldn't be the first one. It won't be the last one. But she will be deposed. And they will have to fight that because we already have subpoena power. So at the end of the day, that's kind of where we are, but I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm not going to answer questions on Twitter. I'm going to let my attorneys do that. But for all of you who are asking, are you going to sue her? The answer has not changed since day one when I said it. She is going to be sued. It's that simple. She's being sued for slander, defamation of character, tortious interference with business, etc., 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 etc.
So there you go. What do you reckon? I don't know if there's anything else. If he says anything else, I'm assuming that's the end of I'm assuming that's the end of it. So I wonder whether LMN and LMN and Steve would both need a Minnesotan lawyer. So it would make sense that they would share. Just checking to see.
Did you know health insurance?
Yeah, so it looks like in Discord at Bruz. Okay. So, and it's interesting how with her previous lawyer, she said that she said in her video, remember there's a video where she said they were going to they were going to cooperate. They were going to cooperate with the lawyer and they were going to oh here we go, Will. Here you go. Oh, poor us. It says poor us. And it says the dunny has tinderbox on it. Oh dear me, that is classic. That is now our that is going to be changed to our thing tonight. You reckon she'll declare bankruptcy? So she's gone from saying on her stream, if you remember her streams, she says, I'm going to cooperate with everything that they want. Now she's saying, her new lawyers are saying that they're not going to cooperate. Why? Oh, dear me. So that to me is just bizarre that she's changed her mind. So this, all right, we've changed it. I know we need to animate the character. We need to get the characters animated. There we go. If you refresh your stream, you'll now see that the picture's changed. Oh, really? I've downloaded Procreate and I can't work it out. So if there's other people going to see, as I said, someone said there could be 2 or 3 more. Yes, I did. It was very hard to get through because I was just so frustrated with Gladys. See, with the Victorian press conferences, I don't ever watch the media because I yell at them. You mean Katie Joy short order? So anyway. So just before, because we're going to finish up it soon, I'm going to finish up. Yeah, I know. I need to sit down and do tutorials, but I have my major project due in 2 weeks' time, and I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to get that sorted. I've got to do a 5-minute presentation this week, next week on Tuesday, and then my major project. So, oh yeah, it was an interesting one. That's right. Jesus, Procreate. I don't have a pen either, so I need to get one. So here was her Twitter was a bit strange today. So it says, Super weird that Wuhif disappears in the middle of a new lawsuit. Whoever that is. Houston, we have a problem. Someone might be losing funding for their legal battles. It's not me. So she's alleging that somebody's funding Steve. Then she says, Joanne Duggar's father-in-law goes off on Facebook. He left Facebook. Now, I don't believe Joanne Duggar's father-in-law is actually a public figure. Then she talks about it's a miracle. Aaron Bates and Chad Payne reveal super scary. Then John Goslin. Then she goes, I think his wife found out he's been funding lawsuits for people. As soon as she showed up on Twitter calling him out, he deleted his Twitter. This is the man that has interfered in my life last year by pestering me about having an attorney in a matter that didn't involve him. Oh, is he? Is the power of attorney with Steve. Okay. Right. See, I don't know who that is. But now she's saying it's this guy that's been pestering her. So is it Steve? Is it LMN? Is it... I don't know. I have to put an Apple Pencil on my list. Then she goes, this is a mother with 3 children with autism and one that has fragile health. To think that money could have been used for something frivolous that could have been used for those kids is heartbreaking. He was grifted over $100,000. He could have used it for his family, but instead used it to pay for gas stalking people desperately. With Steve McRae. Right now, he's tearfully begging his wife to let him send Steve more money. Oh my goodness, he has 4 children and with needs, and he's paying for other people's lawsuits. Now again, do we know that for sure? I don't believe so. But there's been all of this thing that he can't pay. Anyway. And then she says, for the record, I don't need anyone to fund any of my legal issues. I will pay whatever I need to make all of this. Well, hang on, this does not make sense. For the record, I don't need anyone to fund any of my legal issues. I will pay whatever I need to make all of this stop. I have a brand new legal team on board and they are ready to go. I will stand up for myself and others who've been victims in this sick game. This account is going to be revealed. I promise you, all anonymous accounts will be subpoenaed. Every single one of you that has been part of this too will be held accountable. Deleting evidence will lead to sanctions too. And I did a picture of Oprah where she's going, you have a sanction, and you have a sanction, and you have a sanction. So apparently everyone's going to get a sanction. Go for it. So she did that one. Then she says Critical K's channel was terminated for violating the harassment bullying guidelines on YouTube. You know, a lot of people are really upset that Critical K went and Katie Joy's still around. 7 minutes ago. What? A discussion after she up already. A discussion after fake screenshots leaked. They were mad that they had got out and could ruin their credibility. They swore they were real. I keep seeing messages over and over as the goal is me. It was to destroy me. I just know what I know and saw. LOL. I understand Katie is the main goal. Definitely. They could have been made up. Really? Seriously? She's saying that is a doctored screenshot of a discussion. Where's the full conversation? Who's it between? Really? You want me to believe that? I'm sorry, I can't. I'm trying to. What are your thoughts? That's what I'm saying. Well, where's the context of it? Katie's the main goal. Is she the main goal kicker? I don't know. So that's just been posted 8 minutes ago. So I like to see the things in context. And yeah, you're right. There's no times listed on there. We don't know what time they were sent. We don't. Oh yeah, I don't know. Oh, hello. You're about to go. Bye bye. Got it. Bingo. And I don't know if Poppy's here, but I don't think I got any of my mods here either. Oops. Got it. Ralph was on the go. Ralph did his job. See, that's why I have it. Oh, that's why he sticks around. Yeah. Oh, you're still trying to master your cricket? So am I. I'm waiting for you to learn Ausbell so you can give me some tips. Oh, look, poppy seeds, snooze, you lose. No, that's all right. That's fine. She's just reading thing at yeah. So that's it's so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this new legal team she's got. I did hear, well, the current thing going around is that she had a falling out with her previous one because they told her to shut up and she wouldn't. So, which I could see that being a problem. I don't know about you. But she had to find somebody like Michael Brown. Oh, guys, there's Jordan Shanks has just, Friendly Jordies has just posted. Friendly Jordies, 6 months of wasted police resources. How much longer are the New South Wales Police going to continue this farce? If you think the fixated persons unit can't get more crooked, wait for tomorrow's video. Whoa. 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 He is going to go off. So there you go. Bruz is probably going to be in the poo tomorrow. And the interesting thing is that Helen Dalton has actually liked it. It's going to, I reckon it will be, I reckon it's going to be pretty fiery. Oh, I reckon so. So let's see what some of the people have said. I don't think he will. That was an hour ago. I mean, we already knew he did. It says something when you have so little of a case that the police refuse to prosecute you. Yes. But it doesn't help your image when you then order the fixated persons unit to go after another journalist. I think the AFP owes you all a public apology. I'm sure this has been mentioned before, but isn't pork a bit fixated on you, Jordan? Should the fixated persons unit have a bit of a look into that? Yeah. Oh, it's going to be a big drama. I'm assuming that this is going past the lawyers as well. Well, according to the article, Barilaro just admitted he cause pirated your videos. That's what I was saying. He had his he admitted that he downloaded the videos. So he's admitted to pirating the videos. I'd like to see this unit go after the Bin Ladens of political humour, the chaser. They're fixated on little Johnny Howard are a matter of record. And the props in court would be comedy gold. He's continuously bombarded on social media by hashtags mentioned in the videos, including Bruz and the Port Barrel Arrow. I'm sure that now he's mentioned that in the Herald, people will stop calling him Bruz and Port Barrel Arrow. I couldn't read past placed on a USB. Now I'm depressed. Still looking forward to the next FJ video. They took 6 years to go after Brian Houston. Be prepared for the long haul. And then this video has come back. So this is the one where he says, no, I didn't, reporting. Mr. Barilaro said in a statement that he fears for his safety, has experienced harassment and constantly alert and anxious that Mr. Shanks may approach him every time he goes somewhere. There has to be something seriously wrong with Bruz. Now he says Canberra poo has contaminated Merimbula with COVID. Breaking news. Secret Canberra sewer tunnel uncovered. Tonight, exclusive information has surfaced of a secret sewage tunnel from Canberra to the south coast. Shocked Ken Burns are asking, could this subterranean pipeline express them to their coast houses? Oh, Ken Burns. Ken Burns. Ken Burns. Anyway, so we will have the video tomorrow. We'll watch the video tomorrow on stream. It's called the King's Highway. So Ken Behrens said that. So anyway, so tomorrow is going to be an interesting day because, and also on Tuesday, they're back in court for the defamation hearing. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what comes up because since the last hearing, well, sure, order cook, you got to wonder, don't you? There's so much similarities. He did go after Bruz's lawyer too in his last video. So, with Delta COVID cases rising exponentially, I'd give the crooked Gladys 6 months and she'll have wiped out half the population of New South Wales. Why don't they arrest her? Bruz should be charged with wasting police resources. He's a public menace. So there you go. Nothing's going to happen because some politicians are corrupt and still have powerful friends. That's why Muppet Gonzo Gladys B is allowed to do what she wants and she will not leave her position. Same as John Barilaro, the greasy wog. He bribes the fixated persons with Lego's sauce. Wow. I'll probably get in trouble for saying that. Says instead, why don't they take action against Deputy Commissioner Mel Lannon, who was paid and off his rocker when he abused and intimidated New South Wales ambulance officers who were only trying to help him? Wow. Wowzers, that's pretty horrible. So anyway, so we're going to look forward to tomorrow's video because I have no doubt Friendly Jordies is going to come out with all guns blazing, as the saying goes, and the gloves are off. So anyway, on that note, I need to add these timestamps to the video and go and get some sleep because I've got another day in lockdown. Like some of my other friends our lockdown buddies. And yeah, I will catch you again tomorrow because we're going to have to talk about this Friendly Jordies video because this is going to be fiery. I have no doubt it's going to be fiery. And there's going to have to be some answers. No, not sure I get the Aussie sense of humour. Oh, look. Yeah. That's all right. You just say they're Aussies. Lockdown friends. Yeah. Right. Yes, Osbel's still in. I mean, Ken Behrens is is still in lockdown too. But anyway, so Bruz is got himself. He's got himself in some deep doo-doo, hasn't he? It's funny. He's the Minister of Poo Control because he seems to be knee deep in it. Yeah, yeah. You'll get used to it. Anyway, thank you all for joining me, and I will catch you all again tomorrow. Goodbye.